Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. uh, if you are new, please do subscribe. If you're an old subscriber, welcome back and thank you for stopping by. Right, so today we proceed talking about real crimes that have happened in Zimbabwe, in Africa, and everywhere where Africans thrive. Today I am going to talk about another mysterious death that has happened and that still has not been solved. Okay, so the year is 2019 and it's December, and you know how it's like in the country where this crime happened was South Africa, but it involved Zimbabweans. So you know how December is like. Everybody's trying to find their way home, so for the Christmas holidays, year-end holidays. And yeah, while we are in this busy and festive mood, a man by the name of Bheki Ndlovu was gunned down and killed in South Africa in broad daylight, point blank. Okay, so who was Bheki Ndlovu? So from now on, I'm just going to call him Bheki, because yeah, Bheki Ndlovu is rather long, so I'm going to be calling him Bheki from now on. So Bheki was actually a Zimbabwean whose rural home was originally Pumula in Cholocho, but he had relocated to South Africa. He was 44 years of age and he was a businessman and also a Malaicha. So Malaicha, it's kind of people that transport goods and people between Zimbabwe and South Africa. So that's the business that he was in. Not only that, but he had other business interests back home. Like, it is said that he had a couple of supermarkets in his hometown, as well as a grinding mill, and he had a couple of properties. So he was basically a businessman, right? He had his hands all over, just trying to make money. Okay, so he was married to Nomazwe for over 20 years, and they had 3 children together, aged 10, 14, and 20 or 20 plus. The first one was 20 or 20 plus. So that was like the background right there. That is Bheki. So yeah, one day, 14th of December 2019, Bheki gets gunned down. So according to his friend, his long-time friend, they had finished loading, whether it was goods or it was people, I'm not sure, on one of his band sprinters that was going to Zimbabwe. So as usual, he instructed his driver to drive to a service station or a filling station or a garage, I don't know how you call it, where you get fuel. Okay, so he instructed his driver to drive ahead of him and go there and wait for him to come and pay so that they could fill up the tank before they leave. Right, so he did exactly that, and he was driving behind and he was with his friend. So when they got to the service station, he was just chatting with his friend, and his friend described him on that day as being carefree and just happy with life, and he didn't seem troubled or like something was bothering him. No, it seemed like he just had no care in the world. He was just living his life. So apparently somebody called his name, and after he got his attention, like somebody says, "Hey Bheki," and then Bheki turned like, "Who's calling me?" So he got his attention and he shot him twice in the head. He shot him the first time, he fell down. He shot him again while he was down. Walked away like nothing happened. Jumped into his car and drove off. Yeah. So then what happened? What followed? People are screaming. People are all over. People are trying to figure out what has happened. His friend said when he heard the first gunshot, he ducked. And by the time he tried to, like, okay, it sounds like things have quietened down, let me see what's going on, then he realized his friend was down and dying. Okay. Okay, his friend refused to be photographed because he was also worried about his own safety, and he just decided, I'm just going to speak, but I am not going to be photographed. I want to stay safe. Interesting, really interesting. So following Bheki's shooting, they managed to repatriate his body home. His wife, okay, so Bheki's family was actually saying the wife had a hand in his shooting. So they kind of told the police that we suspect she could be involved. So she was called at the police station. They questioned her. They went through her phone. They didn't find anything suspicious, so they let her go, right? So the body was repatriated back home to Zimbabwe. And when the body got home, according to a family member, according to the family spokesperson, there was a convoy of cars, the Haze, and then a car that probably had the family and probably some friends and these people coming from South Africa. So when they got there, according to a family member, the son, the firstborn, marched into the house screaming and shouting and throwing accusations all over, like, this is my father's house, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to take away his property? Da 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 da, you know, that kind of thing. And apparently, according to the family member, everybody just went quiet and they just looked at him like, are you okay? And then he went out and he drove away. Okay, so just after they had arrived, it is said that a lawyer and 5 bouncers came to the house. So they were doing the funeral at Bheki's house, his Zimbabwean, his house in Bulawayo, right? That's where people had gathered waiting for the body and waiting for the other family members that were in South Africa to come so that they could conduct the funeral and do the burial. So the funeral wake was at his house. So after they had arrived, it is said that 5 bouncers, police officers, and the lawyer came to the house. And then the lawyer asked to talk to the family spokesman, and the spokesman went out, and the lawyer said they had come to take Nomazwe from this hostile situation. They've come to take her to safety. Okay, so the family member said they were actually surprised because there was nothing happening, absolutely nothing there were no accusations that were being thrown around at that point, and there was nobody who was being hostile towards her, nobody was trying to charge at her or anything, and there was no, it was just, yeah, she's come home with her husband's body. Okay, so anyway, the family spokesman said they told the lawyer it's okay, you can take her. So she and the children left. They left and they never came back. They didn't attend the burial. Nope, they did not come back for the burial. That was just it. So the family spokesman actually said he saw one of the bouncers and he recognized him. And the bouncer just said, you know what, I'm really sorry, my friend, but I am working right now. I'm on a clock. This is a job that I've been hired to do. I didn't even know it was for your family. But yeah, I've been hired. I'm being paid. So I'm just going to proceed and do my job. What was his job? Protecting Nomazwe. From who? From the Ndlovu family. As much as at that point, there hadn't been anything that seemed like she was in danger. But yeah, they thought she was in danger and they were there to retrieve her. Okay? So anyway, the funeral proceeded to his village in Cholocho, where he was buried in the absence of his wife and his children. So the brothers, the Ndlovu brothers, were actually speaking out saying that they had really hoped that, she would attend her husband's funeral and the children would have attended their father's burial. so that at least they know where their father was laid to rest. But since she didn't do it, there was nothing that they could do. Also, they were hoping that she would realize that she made a mistake by bringing the police and bringing bouncers to the house and not attending the funeral. No, not the funeral, but the burial. So they were hoping that she would realize that she actually made a mistake and should come back and apologize and try to map the way forward as a family. Like, where do we go from here? But here is the thing. From the word go, Nomazwe is said to have been accusing the family of trying to take away her property, the stuff that she had worked for with her husband, everything that they owned together. Okay, that was what she was saying. Hence, she brought in the lawyer. Okay, so Facebook and whole social media was awash following Bheki's death. It was awash with claims that Bheki was killed because he was on his way to divorce his wife of 25 years because she was cheating with a man called Tshabalala, something Tshabalala, also known as Ngube. He was based in UK, and he was also married. So that was what social media was saying, that she was having an affair with Christopher Tshabalala, right? And then that same Christopher is also called Jabulani in Zimbabwe, but in the UK they call him Christopher Tshabalala. So yeah, that was the accusation that was there. And the family claims that they actually have like 62 videos of Nomazwe and Tshabalala together, proving that indeed there was a relationship, and some of them are actually quite indecent. When Nomazwe was asked about this relationship, she didn't deny it. She said indeed she had met Tshabalala in 2017, and her husband had found out about the affair in 2018 and told her to end it. And when she didn't end it, the husband threatened to divorce her. He even started filing for divorce, but he stopped somewhere and withdrew because he said, "You have been forgiving me for all my affairs over the 25 years that we've been married, so I can also forgive you." That is what Nomazwe says. So she also claimed that her husband had a lot of enemies in Joburg, and he always spoke about how he would be killed one day by his enemies because he had met a lot of enemies in the business that he was in. So he knew that someday he would just be gunned down, or something really terrible was going to happen and he was going to die. That is all from Nomazwe. Like, Bheki is not there to say yes or no. She's now the one who's just speaking. So yeah, we might as well take her word for it, or we might choose to dispute that. But yeah, that is what she said about what she thinks happened to her husband. He had a lot of enemies. Anyone could have killed him, but she definitely was not involved. However, Tshabalala's wife, remember Tshabalala, the boyfriend in UK? He's married. His wife said one day Tshabalala came home drunk. There in the UK, he came home drunk. She got hold of his phone. She started going through his messages, and she saw his chats with his girlfriend Nomazwe. And then there was communication about some $15,000 that was supposed to be paid to someone in South Africa. So the wife was saying, yes, he's my husband, but if he was involved in somebody's death, in the killing of somebody, then he really needs to face the law. So she wasn't saying he was involved. She wasn't saying he was not involved. She was just saying if he was. Given that she just saw that they were communicating about $15,000 that was supposed to be paid to somebody. And she actually said there was a confirmation that the $15,000 US dollars had been paid to somebody in South Africa. Okay, so probably that was the hitman, because the way Ndlovu's let's call him Bheki, the way Bheki's friend explained it, he actually said it looked like a hit because nothing was taken, no one else was shot, no one was threatened, just him and him alone. So this person understood the assignment and they executed the assignment. Okay, but who could have wanted Bheki dead? Who? Is it Christopher Tshabalala, the boyfriend in UK? Is it Nomazwe Ndlovu, the wife? Or is it one of his girlfriends? So the Ndlovu brothers or the Ndlovu family said they were not interested in taking the property that belonged to Mr. and Mrs. Bheki Ndlovu because they also had their own things. What they were worried about is having the children taken care of. They just wanted the property to be safe, to make sure that all these things that their brother had amassed, all the wealth that he had amassed, would go towards the upkeep of his children. They were worried that Nomazwe was already trying to dispose of some of the properties. So she was saying that she was not doing that, and also she met Bheki when he had nothing. She actually said when they got married, her mom, Nomazwe's mom, gave them a house to stay, and that's because Bheki had nothing. They could not afford a house to stay by themselves. So her mom actually offered them a house to stay. Now that house, the Ndlovus are now saying it's their house. So they ended up in the Master of High Court, trying to, you know how when somebody dies and then you want to find who's going to be the executor of the estate. So Nomazwe was saying, well, I'm the surviving spouse, so please, by all means, I have to be the only executor here. I'm the only person who should be. Certain details emerged at the Masters of High Court that probably should have never. Number one, when the Ndlovu family went to do the death certificate, it says he was single. Bheki Ndlovu was single. He was listed as single. Yet he was still married. They had not gone through the divorce. The divorce had not been finalized, and probably the divorce had not been filed for. I have no idea. But according to Nomazwe, the divorce was never filed. But then the divorce order, they applied saying that he was a single person. Number two, the other thing that came out at the Masters of High Court is that Bheki was a womanizer and an abusive man. So she, that is Nomazwe, said he was actually dating one Caroline. And Caroline was actually part of that meeting, you know. I don't know who she went into that meeting as, but she was in that meeting, and she also attended the burial. So Nomazwe said that's the reason she did not attend the burial, because his girlfriend was there, Caroline. Okay, then she went on to basically tell everybody the details about how he was cheating from 1997, which is the year they got married. So she said in 1997 he cheated with a woman called Zimbabwean. Okay, she caught on, she asked him, she called the woman and she spoke to the woman, and he wasn't happy about it, so he beat her up. That's according to her, to Nomazwe. Okay, she says in 1997, okay, he was dating again somebody called Sokuluhle Ndlovu. Okay, and this Ndlovu woman was actually staying in Tshabalala, and she was a primary school teacher. So they dated, and then when Nomazwe caught up on this relationship, again she was beaten up for asking. Okay, in 2014 he is said to have dated Sibongile Tshabalala. Sibongile Tshabalala. You know Tshabalala, UK? Christopher Tshabalala. Christopher Tshabalala, Sibongile Tshabalala, brother and sister. I'm not talking about just family names, but I'm talking about brother and sister. They were a brother and a sister. Okay, so he is said to have dated that woman, and again she found it out and he wasn't happy about it. And actually when Sibongile's husband found out that Sibongile was having an affair with Bheki, Sibongile's husband divorced her, so she was also married. Okay, and in 2015 he is said to have had an affair with a woman called Ashila Dube, and another one called Nomakaya Sibanda, who was actually their neighbor. So all that came out at the Masters of Court, where they were trying to find out who should be the executor of the estate. So she was just trying to say, he's not as innocent, he wasn't as innocent as you guys thought him to be. This is the person that he was. But could that be a reason for him being gunned down? She also claims that she only met Tshabalala twice since 2017, which is the year that they met. Okay, and she said before she met Tshabalala, she and her husband had been staying like a brother and a sister for years, if you know what I mean. They hadn't been intimate for years. So as far as she was concerned, the marriage was over. So basically it was okay for her to have the affair. Okay, that's according to her. Okay, but the Ndlovus say none of that happened, and they actually still believe she had a hand in his death. But she says the police cleared her. What are your thoughts? So what happened to Bheki Ndlovu? Who killed Bheki Ndlovu? Up to now, I didn't come across anywhere where it said that somebody then eventually got arrested, or somebody eventually got convicted, or somebody is in prison serving for killing Bheki. No, I didn't see that. So what happened to him? Who killed him? Okay, we know he was killed, but who, by who and why? Who planned it? Was it Christopher Tshabalala? Was it Nomazwe Ndlovu? Was it one of the girlfriends? If indeed they were girlfriends. Who could have wanted him dead? Was it like a business rivalry? I don't know. What are you? So as the news of Bheki's shooting started sifting through social media and everything, one particular person took a keen interest and started reporting on it. Do you remember Ezra Sibanda? Like a veteran broadcaster in Zimbabwe, but he's not in Zimbabwe anymore. So he actually took to social media and expressed his thoughts, and he was basically accusing Nomazwe of killing her husband because she was a cheater and she was trying to get rid of him so that he would not divorce her based on adultery. And also, well, he was told by her lawyers to retrieve those, to withdraw the posts, or else face, you know, they were going to go the legal route with him. He was going to be sued for defamation of character. Okay, but it is also said that in the court there was still a case of adultery that had been filed by Bheki against Tshabalala, the Tshabalala in UK. Yes, so the law of Zimbabwe is like that, right? When you're married to a person where you are married as, I think is it chapter 5.1 or something, where it's one man, one woman. Okay, if one of you is cheating, then the aggrieved part will sue the other one that this one is cheating with. If your wife is cheating with somebody, you sue the man that she's cheating with. If your husband is cheating, you sue the woman that he's cheating with because she is the one disturbing your marriage. I find that rather weird because, I don't know, I just feel like this person is the one who made promises to you. he should be the one keeping those promises. If he doesn't keep them, he should be sued. So anyway, there was actually a charge that had been laid, or I don't know if it's a charge. I think that those things go through the civil courts. I don't know if they actually go through the criminal court. I don't know, but I think it's a civil charge or a civil matter where Tshabalala had been sued for adultery by Bheki. So yeah, that was also pending. So that was also like another angle that people looked at it like, okay, you could have been trying to get rid of him because of that also, you know. And Facebook was awash with photos of Nomazwe and Tshabalala. Very cozy. Very, very cozy. So I don't know how people find this kind of information. Like when something just happens, people just happen to have photos and people just happen to have videos, and they come out right at the right time. Like somebody was holding on to these photos all this while, and suddenly Bheki is gunned down and these photos start to just pop up. So yeah, they were actually very suggestive photos of course Bheki did not deny that she had an affair with Tshabalala. She didn't. So yeah, the photos were out there and she never denied it. No, not Bheki, but Nomazwe did not deny that she had an affair with Tshabalala. She never denied that. Anyway, guys, yeah, that's the mystery around the death of Bheki Ndlovu, a Zimbabwean who was shot point blank and in daylight in South Africa. That is in Gauteng. And he died. And up to now, that was in December of 2019. And this is 2022. Nobody still has been arrested for the death. Nobody has been tried for the death of Bheki Ndlovu. But Bheki Ndlovu was laid to rest in his home, that is in Tsholotsho, and he survived by a wife, Nomazwe, and 3 children aged 10, 14, and 20 plus, because they were married for 25 years, and he was 44 years old. What are your thoughts, guys? What do you think actually happened to Bheki? What do you think? Who do you think killed Bheki, and why? Please do comment down below. Tell me what you think. Comment down below and tell me what you think. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing and for commenting. I really like to hear what your thoughts are. This is like a huge mystery happening there. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please do your best to stay safe. There is COVID out there. Do your best to stay safe. Do what you need to do to stay safe. And take care of your families. Take care of yourselves. Be blessed. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.